Hello and welcome back. Happy New Year. It's time for video number 38. Today I'd like to talk about red-tailed hawks. Do you think I look like a red-tailed hawk? All right. Well, let's begin with some biology words. The first word is ornithology or ornithologist, and that is somebody who specifically studies birds. Ornithology is the study of birds. When I went to college at Southwestern College in Winfield, Kansas, I had a professor named Max Thompson, and here's his picture. He's a famous ornithologist, and his office was right next to Dr. Wimmer. They sort of look alike. I couldn't find a picture of Dr. Wimmer, but Dr. Wimmer taught me the joy of bird watching, and so this video is dedicated to them. The other reason I made a video about red-tailed hawks is because you can see them so clearly at this time of year when it's winter and there's no leaves on the trees. Now, of course, you can see them in the summer too, but when I drive back and forth on the Kansas highways for holidays, I just notice the red-tailed hawks, and they're almost always perched perfectly on a sign or on a tree or on a fence post, and they look just like a picture. They look just like this. They're easy to recognize because of their colors. They have a big white breast, and then they have the brown feathers, and then they have reddish tail feathers, which is how they get their name, but you really don't see them unless you have this viewpoint, which is rare. But that's why they're called the red-tailed hawks. There's lots of different hawks in the United States, but the red-tailed hawk is the most common. All right, I see them all the time. I just love them. They're so majestic. They are the top of the food chain, and when they're sitting there perched, they don't really have to hide because there's no predators, really, especially if you're up on a tree or a post. So they sit there and they scan the area for food. And they eat a lot of things. They eat a lot of small rodents like mice and voles, and they will eat little bunnies or rabbits. They will also eat other birds and reptiles. And I've even heard stories of people with small dogs having to watch out for hawks that might come in when they're hungry to swoop them up. Right, they build nests. They're really big nests that you can see. Again, in the winter, it's much easier because there's no leaves on the trees, but their nests can be up to 3 feet across. They're made of twigs. Sometimes you'll see them soaring through the air. And if you do see them, they're going to be soaring. They're not going to do a whole lot of flapping. And they will if they're coming in, but you see them soaring, and they are usually they're solitary. Maybe you'll see 2, possibly 3 or 4, but they're not a flock bird. They're not a backyard bird. They're not a flock bird. They are a open field, solitary, I own this territory type of bird. The male, well, actually all the hawks, I don't mean male and female, they make a characteristic song, and it's kind of like this. And it's the one that they always play in the movies, whether it's a hawk or an eagle or any kind of bird that's soaring, especially in the old westerns when the guy's left out in the desert and they're about to die, and you see the vulture and you hear the keer sound. But I'll play you they really make more of a screeching noise, and I'll play it for you. I have it on my phone. This is a red-tailed hawk sound. Right? Kind of screechy, but it should sound familiar. All right, the next time you are driving down the Kansas highways, or any highways, I don't mean to just say Kansas, but I know that I saw a whole bunch. I was driving on I-35 through the Flint Hills, and I started counting the hawks at mile marker 170. And by the time I got to mile marker 130, that's 40 miles, I saw over 60 red-tailed hawks. Over 60. So that's like 1.5 hawks every mile. Right, so if you are driving, maybe for holidays or whatever you're driving for, and you're driving through the highways, and it's this time of year. It doesn't have to be. You can also see them in the summer. But instead of the alphabet game, you want to make the time go faster, play the red-tailed hawk game. Give yourself a point every time you see a red-tailed hawk. If you miscall it, that's a minus. And see how many hawks you or your group can accumulate. It's fun. It's what I do. I don't really count them anymore. Well, and again, I guess I just did. But I just love the red-tailed hawks. And the other thing you might keep your eyes out for are the red cedar trees. And these are the scruffy-looking trees. They are native to the Kansas landscape. You see them all over the place. And they just grow. They're scruffy. They don't have the needles. They have more of the scales. And I do have a video on evergreen tree identification that I recommend. But the next time you're driving, think of this video. See if you see some hawks. See if you see some red cedar trees. And I will end this video today. Unfortunately, I don't have a hawk joke. And I'm telling you that it's pretty hawkward. It's awkward to not have a good joke at the end. I'm Karen Rogers. I educate, motivate, and entertain. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.